Welcome to the Arizona Wildcats Show, brought to you by Fry's Food Stores. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley, here with Daniel Berk. Daniel, we are talking football here. On our last episode, we talked about Arizona's defense with Tremaine Bondurant. Maybe on the team, maybe not. Now let's talk about the offense, and more specifically, the skill position players,
Yes.
Quarterbacks, running backs, receivers. What have you seen so far in the first week of camp?
Let's start with the wide receivers, okay? Well, first of all, the biggest impression you form is what Rich Rodriguez tells you.
Right.
So yesterday after practice, he was not a happy camper, and he was specifically upset with the wide receivers. And he kept saying, whoever anointed these guys the best crew in the country, what were they thinking? And he
I think it was Matt Dudek, his own recruiting coordinator, but that's okay.
And even Rodriguez has been very complimentary. So he knows, but they've just been below average. I think that's more of a Rich Rodriguez motivational tactic to get them going. We've seen that before because there's certainly a lot of talent. You looked out there yesterday, and obviously first team and second teams don't mean a whole lot right now, but their second team yesterday was Caleb Jones, David Richards, Nate Phillips, and T.J. Johnson. I mean, those are four guys that, could all be starters at any moment, too. So the first team was Devontae Neal, Austin Hill, Samaje Grant, and Trey Griffey. So, I mean, there's just so much depth there, but they're not playing to the way that he'd like them to. That could obviously change any minute. There's still a lot of talent there and a lot to like.
Let's talk about Trey Griffey for a minute. He played last season, came on really strong at the end, had a pretty good bowl game, if I remember correctly.
Yes, he did. Very good bowl game.
Is a guy who everybody will talk about because of his bloodlines. He's Ken Griffey Jr.'s son and naturally Ken Griffey Sr.'s grandson.
Yes.
Everybody talks about his bloodlines. If his name was Trey Berk, what would you say about his skill position and what he brings to it?
Well, Trey Burke's a point guard.
B-E-R-K. If his last name wasn't Griffey, would he still be getting the same amount of attention that he is getting now?
Well, I think they're asked about him more. So yeah, he wouldn't be getting as much attention, but he'd be playing as much if his name was Trey Burke. They really like what he does. He's steady. He's one of those guys that fundamentally is sound. The red shirt year did him wonders, and that's why when guys come in and they redshirt and people get disappointed, that year can be very beneficial if you let it be. He's a very steady guy. He's got great hands. Not the fastest of the group, but can go up and make a play. He is gonna. I think he's maybe one of him and Austin Hill are the two biggest locks right now, I think, to get the most playing time. And he's a really good player that they like.
More so than Devontae Neal.
I think just because I only say Hill and Griffey because they've proven it in games for Arizona, and I think that goes a long way with this coaching staff right now. Devontae Neal is having a great camp through 3 days. They love him. He's going to play a lot, but I guess I think more that he could play some running back. He could do some things. He'll be out there, but Hill and Griffey, I think, are just locks to be out there most plays at wide receiver.
This is the Arizona Wildcats Show, brought to you by Fry's Food Stores. Ryan Finley here with Daniel Berk. Daniel, before we sign off here, let's talk about a couple of different positions. Running back. If the season were to start today, who's your number one running back?
I think Terrace Jones-Grigsby. And I think that, I was talking earlier, I think that they could be a team this year that never has a running back who has more than 12 or 13 carries. And a guy has 12, the next has 8, 7, whatever. But I think right now, Terrace Jones-Grigsby is the senior that they trust. Not the flashiest guy, but he knows exactly where he needs to go and that. And then I think, the two freshmen to watch, John Hayden and Nick Wilson. I think they're having strong starts to camp, and I think Wilson will play as a true freshman. I think Hayden has a chance. So, and then Jared Baker's back, from the torn ACL. So they have a lot of options there. I don't know if or where Adonis Smith, the UNLV transfer, will factor in. He's got a hand injury right now and just kind of seems behind. So, but it'll be interesting. And then you obviously have the Devontae Neals, the Samaje Grants, the T.J. Johnsons, the Kalen Dabowskis. So it'll be interesting to see.
All right, Daniel, we've been teasing the people here for about 3 minutes. Tell me before we sign off, which quarterback has looked the best in the first week of camp?
I don't think there has been one, and I think that every day someone else has looked better, and I think that it's he's given each guy a different time to work with the ones. Every guy's had a chance so far through 3 days. I think some guys have had good days and some days have bad days. One guy that's caught my eye just because he looks a little different and he's moving around better is Anu Solomon. And I'm in no way saying I think Anu Solomon's going to be their starting quarterback or anything like that, but he just looks like he has made a jump from spring. He looks like he's just, like I said, moving around better. He looks shiftier. His arm is strong, which it always has been. So he's the guy that I think over the next 10 days I'm going to be watching maybe a little more closely because I think in 10 to 12 days they want to start to get this thing down to 2 or 3 guys and really figure out what they want to do.
Anu Solomon, another great testament to the redshirt year.
Yes, you're right about that. You are absolutely right about that. Again, people were disappointed and we're already calling him a bust because one article comes out before he gets here and says he's going to be the #1 impact true freshman in the country. And then when he redshirts, he's labeled as a disappointment. That is not true. He had a year, and it can be a very beneficial thing if you let it be. And so far, it looks like he has.
Fabulous. Great stuff as always. Daniel, this is the Arizona Wildcats show brought to you by Fry's Food Stores. For Daniel Berk, I'm Ryan Finley. We'll see you next time.
Try this matchup. Low prices and faster checkout. You can count on it at Fry's.